Ah, yeah, hi. I've set up a new setup. It's got a microphone up there. It's quite a nice one. I've had it for a while. It can do Omni and it can do bloody figure of eight. Amazing. I've got a thing over here, which is my new preamp. It works very well so far, though I was having some trouble with it. But yeah, seems to all have been sorted now, which is nice. Dooby-doo. So, 2025 is nigh slash bonus. It's literally here. Right nigh, as they would say in the old two Ronnies. Everyone familiar with that? Good. Yeah, it's feeling like a year of confusion and despair. And excitement as well, most importantly. Forget about the confusion and despair. Excitement is what we've got in store. What have we got in store, Seb? Well, let me tell you that. Let me tell you. We got the old Perverts in store. Now, I know Ethel Cain a bit, musically, not literally, not socially. And I was not massively fussed about her previous incredibly successful album, Preacher's Daughter. But nonetheless, I thought I could dive into this today. It's not the first one I've listened to this year, from this year. I managed to get that Franz Ferdinand album on. I quite enjoyed it. I managed to get Ringo Starr's new album on. I didn't enjoy it, basically at all. And I was not surprised by that. Nonetheless, it sort of took me a while to realise that that was what I was expecting of Ringo Starr. I mean, yeah, he's never been the creative master, but this is especially, I don't know, it has people like T-Bone Burnett working on it, who, while I've enjoyed some things that he's done in the past, find broadly not very interesting as a producer or a, creative. And then it's got like Molly Tuttle and Billy Strings, who are both very good performers, just underutilized, frankly, across this album. So yeah, too much Ringo Starr, not enough of the actual stars. Ha ha ha. Anyway, this is not what we're looking at today. We're looking at Perverts. Now, I haven't listened to this at all beforehand, so I may well get horribly lost and confused, but we will see. Hopefully, it's got good things in store as well. We're not going to make it through this entire runtime. 1 hour 29 is quite something. And 9 songs, so that's an average of 10 minutes a song, quite easily. Whew, that's something. Okay, well anyway, this first 12-minute one, let's see how it's going. Okay, lovely noise to start with. Wow. So there's this kind of, it might just be random noise, but it feels like this sort of octave bass line, something like that, which is cool. And then over the top of that, something that is broadly connected to that musically. Let's hear it again. So if that E is our root, then we got which already is some interesting harmonic territory. We've only got two elements here, very, very distorted kind of things, not in the kind of brash guitar distortion, but just in terms of noise, let's say pollution. There's loads of pollution in the recording. So you can't hear the words. I'm not going to be focusing on the words, but you can't hear them. You just hear that voice coming through. And its relationship there. We've got the major third that we end on there. Lovely bright kind of sound, but then na 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 comes before it. The flat 7 and the flat 6 and the 5. 5 is just fine, sort of bridges us between the major 3 and the previous bits, which are much darker. So we're playing with colour here in an interesting way. And right. And then that, well, if we think of those in relation to that E, which admittedly is not very clear at the bottom anymore, the voice is really overpowering it. We've got spelling out a B major chord, really. So that's an F sharp, which would be the second if the E is the one. The 5th again, would that be D sharp this time, which is the 7 rather than the flat 7 that we had at the beginning. And then coming to this normal 6, not the flat 6 that we had at the beginning again. So yeah, really all over the place. So that time we got a very similar melody to the first melody, but with the 7 and the 6 rather than the flat 7 and flat 6. So now my addled mind is thinking maybe I misheard that first one. Let's just hear it again. Ooh. You know what? It's a little bit in the cracks, isn't it? That's interesting. Maybe deliberate. There's a sort of slight moulding of that bass note as well. It's not always feeling like an E. It sometimes feels just a little bit higher than an E, maybe a little bit lower. So the harmony here is not set equal temperament, perfect intervals. It is much more fluid than that. Interesting stuff. Yeah. But that's much clearer. Da, 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 da. And then a really nice phrase by itself. That would be, it would be basically saying that we're in B, because we finish on that B really nicely there. Ba da 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 da. That would be like 5 1 7 2 1. But that isn't actually really how it feels with that thing down there, because we go na, 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 and we've still got that E droning down there. It's not really clear if that E is meant to be our sort of tonal center at the moment. It feels like that because it's the most constant thing, and that if so puts us in a kind of E Lydian territory, where that A sharp is a sharp 4 of the key. So our notes so far, we've had that E, ignoring what I think I heard at the beginning. It's still kind of there, but if these are our notes, That's our scale. We've got 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So always a fun thing when Lydian comes up. It's fairly unusual, and yeah, it has this otherworldly quality because of that sharp 4. Let's carry on. Wow. So we just ended really nicely like that, and then we're just in totally different harmonic territory all of a sudden. Getting F. Well, we had F sharps all the way through before. F, G. It's basically saying, well, maybe we're in F, but either way, against that E that's still droning away, we're looking at flat 2 and flat 3, as well as that flat 7 that is that D. Rhyming genius, carrying on. Yeah. Maybe I'm making a bit much of this E. It is there, but it's not very present, and so it doesn't feel like a huge clash, but it is an ever-present sort of dissonance, mouldering away at your soul as you listen to this. Yeah, so there's that DC like we got at the beginning. I'm bringing it back. That is what we got at the beginning. Wow, this might be an old song, mightn't it? This might be an actual old piece of music, but clearly this is not how it originally was sounding. This is very odd stuff. So yeah, we got a kind of chorus going on there with some extra thick vocal chords, all being absolutely smushed through some noise distortion device, and making it really bring out the harmonics that are working together, and absolutely destroying any kind of upper frequencies that would help us understand what's going on. That said, you can kind of hear it say "Nearer, my God, to thee," so we've got enough information to work that out. Yeah, and there the whatever noise there was making the E, it's basically drowned out, and we just get some nice one, 5, 5, 7, 1 with that 5, 1, 7, 2, 1 melody. Really old-fashioned, friendly, hymnal ending to a song, really, and that probably is what this is. I may well have come across it before, but I don't remember it. Yeah, okay. Well, we've got the gist of what's going on now. I'm not going to talk too much if that carries on, but if something changes, we may well have another chat. Oh, okay. So we've just clicked off the tape that was maybe in the car, and now we've just got some really much more high fidelity audio, but it's just rumbling echoes, maybe on the freeway. Oh, and there's a kind of sprinkling of stardust just hit us, just one little star echoing through the right speaker. Oh, some really muffled voices. And the wow. Well, this is going to be an unsettling experience. Yeah, so we first heard a in this one, and then in the left one, and then yeah, something masturbator. Really fun. Sounds like that is not just through a crazy sort of bandpass audio, which takes out most of the sound. Maybe it's just a low pass filter, but anyway, it's taking out most of the sound that was probably recorded of the voice, and then it's also going through some other strange filter which sort of makes it computerized and glitchy as well. Yeah, fun. This is creepy. This is not what I was expecting. I think I might need to go back to Preacher's Daughter, because I don't remember anything like this on the... Oh, and there's that Stardust thing. It feels less... There's that same thing. More present, more clear now. Yeah, that sort of twinkly thing in the right ear feels a lot less magical now. I don't know exactly why. Maybe it's because it's clearly more regular, or it's lasting longer, or it's less shiny. It might have less high-pitched sound on it. Let's keep going. Okay, it's moved over to the left, and yeah, that rumbling is really deep now. Move back over to the right. This is some proper masturbator. I mean, it's funny, which is a shame. It's probably not what it's going for. It's gone over to the left. There it is. It's getting louder. Okay, we've just had quite a shift. We've just had quite a shift in the background audio. I'll take it back a bit. See if you can hear the shift. Here, not too much low. And then there. Suddenly this big wodge of darkness comes in. Oh, yeah, this is oppressive. And this ticker keeps going between... God, I can't help but feel called out. Okay, there is a tone coming through as well. C sharp coming through the noise. It's a little bit maybe flatter than that. And there's a little bit of morphing, okay, that's going on with the ticky thing as well. It has just changed notes, but not really important, I think, what it's changed to. And then there was a ooh in the background there, fun. It's up there, isn't it? Okay, I think we've gone back to the original note. Yeah, there's a little bit of push and pull with the pitch of the tone coming through. Oh gosh. Yeah. I hear there's a new Amnesia game. Well, okay, new last year. There might be a new one this year. Should give Ethel Cain a ring. Yeah. Just occasional human noises coming through this. It's like a soup of dead souls or something. Okay, it's getting a little more whooshy. There's a kind of whooshing effect going between the ears, whoosh, 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 in rhythm. So we're starting maybe to cut through that gloom and get something clearer on the other side. Maybe. We're 4 minutes in. We've got a long way to go. 2/3 still to explore. Let's just go for it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is going to make me sick. Okay, slowing down the whooshes, but they are becoming more prominent. Oh, gosh. Okay, some more tones cutting through now, some higher ones. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, somewhere around a B. So maybe there's that minor seventh. Yeah, it sort of feels like there's a minor seventh chord which just keeps shifting in here. Okay, those whooshes are very irregular. Well, they keep going faster and slower. Whoa! Let's say that again. Was not expecting it. Okay, so, you know, through all of that, I sort of thought we had this note and this note going something like that, maybe with that in the middle. And then we get A, G, A, with really low rumble that comes in on that second A. So that kind of puts paid to this. I mean, it's not completely discordant, but I don't feel they're tuned together. Maybe they are. Maybe we'll have another listen and then we'll see they are. But also, it's just suddenly some undeniable pitched audio coming through. Yeah, God knows what instrument it is. Something, yeah, warped and distorted like everything else in here. But it's, yeah, a big change from what we've had before. Let's keep going. Sort of feels like a bell. Okay, some more muted audio. I don't want to even look at the lyrics because it sort of feels like it's spoiling the feel. Wow, that is oppressively reverberant and suddenly gone. Okay, suddenly gone. One bit of like horror audio just bursting in like a shock and then saying something and then just disappearing again. And now we've gone back to a similar kind of soundscape. I don't want to say it's exactly the same. No, it's not exactly the same because we've got this kind of something going on, as well as that kind of, yeah, uneven C minor 7 chord, C sharp minor 7 chord. Okay, and there's the same thing again. I'm not sure that last note is actually back to an A. Let's hear it one more time. Yeah. I'm gonna hear it again. Okay, so I think the higher part is doing that, so that's A, G, G sharp, and then is coming in at the low end. That's a really low A. An octave lower than that, maybe an octave lower than that, though I don't think so. Just rumbling and creating a major seventh dissonance with that note. Unescapable one, one that is definitely there. Very uncomfortable. This is quite impressive, the lengths to which this is unsettling me. It might be that I don't normally sit so intently focusing on unpleasant, disturbing audio, but it's working. Okay, and we're gone again. Back to our familiar things. And those main four sort of sounds. No doubt it will come. Well, okay, there it is. Sad music. There was maybe something about driving in there, which I think fits with the soundscape in general. This does feel like if it were an absolutely haunted 3 a.m. drive through some fairly rural roads. Rural, but nonetheless, like, not windy, just straight. And you're just slowly losing your mind from no scenery. And then it's gone again. So this is the third time that's happened. Very similar each time, but not quite the same any times. We haven't got the whooshing anymore. Oh. Yeah, wow. Such beats. You can hear the beats of everything sort of competing with each other for dominance in the sound wave, I guess. Yeah, when as we hear it, it flutters, because there's sort of competing. At least this is how I understand it. There's a competing wave source, which means that that we don't just get one solid note. It shifts and comes in and out of presence as the other wave interferes with it and sort of removes some of its power at specific points during the beating. Anyway, all of that adds to the sort of uncomfortable non-rhythm, and yet it's a rhythm. But we are just constantly, shifting between these two things. So any rhythm that we build up in a particular section is soon to be dashed by the next section. Okay, so we've had 4 back and forths now. Are we going to get a 5th? Okay, yes. Yeah. So there's our 5th. Heaven. Just one word. And we got it again in the left speaker. With some glitch. Nice. It's carrying on, isn't it? This is definitely a whole lot longer than the previous one. Woo-wee. Wow. Okay, but it still gave up in the end. Interesting. Just looking at the other titles, I'm not looking forward to a lot on here. This is crazy. Yeah, and our 6th, and we're back to that major 7th interval. It's very clear. The low A and the G sharp. And this is again longer, but there's no... Okay, I'm gone. I think it was longer. I'm not going to go back and check each of the things. Oh my gosh. Those higher things are disappearing. Leaving us just back on the highway without the anxiety noises. Oh! Ah! No! Amazing. Great choice. Great choice for suspense and general power of music. So yeah, they disappear and we think we're home and dry with our panic attack having faded, no longer getting these anxiety pulses and other things causing us that upset. We just get what ends up being quite a comfortable, reliable, soft noise sound of the highway or whatever it is. Just soft waves of noise, and then bing day comes in, and then all the noises come back. Horrible dedication in sound to unpleasant mental states is what I think this is. Again, some unclear words. Everything's so loud. The ticking, still going between the ears. We haven't got the whooshing, at least, thank goodness. But we've got enough beating from everything else. Another note came in there. Interesting. Okay, and it's lasting. It's got that one still as well. Yeah, just absolutely fills you. Yeah. And if you listen deep, okay, well, there's something else coming there. Something like that. Just past the waves. There is some melodic work going on now. Here it is, clearer again. So it sounds like that. Very long held note, very long held note, very long held note. Just, yeah, pushing at the eardrums. I'm actually hearing a chord coming through this now. There's the F. Okay, so the higher things have disappeared. We're left with... Okay, there's a little bit of the ticking. We're left with mainly mid noise. Even the lower stuff is on the leaving side. Still a little bit there. And yeah, we've got this ba-da-da-da kind of thing coming through. We might have some kind of F minor tonality sort of forcing its way through. Well, is that the... Yeah, that's a D flat, which is still in keeping with F minor tonality. That kind of thing, with the chord name being these kinds of notes. That's what I'm getting anyway. I imagine you could hear it different ways. But it's nice that towards the end we have actually got to something recognizable and to some degree comfortable. And yeah, then suddenly drops.
It's happening to everybody.
It's happening to everybody. Nice. Yeah, boy, that is quite a thing. Okay, and we're going straight into the next track, continuing. Okay, it is fading out the previous audio, but it was there at the beginning. Something like that. Yeah. Again, we're not so hot on absolute equal temperament. That's totally fine. To be honest, a guitar isn't equal temperament anyway. But that's a thing for another day. Okay, and then we got a chord, and I sort of missed it. Am I just sharp? Flat. Okay, alright. Endeavour to always do this before stream. Okay. Okay, so maybe take everything I said on the previous one as upper semitone. Or no, down a semitone. Because yeah, that is actually definitely almost even in tune E minor. B minor. major. Sorry, D major, A major. E minor, B minor, D major, A major. Consider me less interested all of a sudden. I can't think of the specific ones. This is 4-chord adjacent. Obviously it is 4 chords. So that, there's a connection already with the magic 4-chord sequence. What would this have to be? 1 and 5 there, so it's 2 to 6 to 1 5. So if this was a 4, then we'd have the same chord sequence as the 4-chord sequence, just in a particular order, which I just don't find exciting anymore. I maybe never did, but certainly now it just feels like using these chords by themselves in this kind of context is all it says is sort of a reified, I want this to be a hit. And notably, this has more plays than the rest of the album. No doubt it was released as a single, and it's got a music video. Well, anyway, let's see how it goes. It's still 6 minutes 40, so it can't be too generic. And the sound design is pretty out there. It's interesting. Everything's so muted and close, but lacking that high frequency stuff. Okay. Two pretty simple phrases, relatively powerful. Yeah, 1 2 1, flat 7, flat 7 1. Yeah, nothing flashy, kind of appropriate for the situation. Just the 5 there. If we're in the minor version of this. Am I seeing this as that being minor, that being the main chord? Yeah, by my analysis of that I was. So that would suggest actually I'm being a little bit harsh, and even though this is very close to a 4-chord song, it is still in Dorian mode as opposed to being in major or minor. Now, that doesn't change the chords. The chords are what they are. But it does say that the order of them puts this in a little bit of a special place, the 4-chord there then, rather than the 5-chord. And yeah, it feels sort of more positive than the average minor situation. That said, it still feels, really sort of mainstream adjacent. Anyway, I don't want to hate on it just for that, though I think that is something to avoid when the mainstream is mostly trash, which I kind of think it is. Anyway. Choose on me. We had a nice moment there. A little bluesy flat 2. Not that the flat 2 is normally bluesy, but it sort of feels it in this kind of situation. None of these phrases have been very similar so far, which is something that's kind of interesting. We've also got various things going on in the background. Another voice seemingly, maybe some arpeggios or something, just whispering away in the reverb. Yeah, still using all the same notes, but we're not none of these phrases have the same contour, have the same note use. They all just fit the words that they're given. It's an interesting approach. Okay, so that one has a little bit of a connection to the so we're having a little bit of a chromatic fun with the melody, which is nice, and in the starkness of the arrangement it is really given center stage, and that is pretty bold. It has always been this way. Straightforward melody. We have had one that was roughly that shape before, so we are starting to get into some repetition now. There we go. So we repeat the same phrase with a before. Yeah. So the reverb on the vocals sort of gets in the way of the original signal there in a really beautiful way. So we get this with those two semitone apart notes just blurring into each other and fighting each other. And when I say fighting, it doesn't feel violent really, it just feels like two different dream surfaces. Yeah. Is that a thing? If you have a dream and another dream and they sort of blur into each other in your memory, that sort of feels like what this is. I quite like that. Big slide, that's fun. But then it's a really nice change from the the suspension after that A chord. That note carries on into the E minor chord and then goes up. Doesn't even really resolve to that E. I kind of think it's like a soft resolution when you go to the minor 7 of a minor chord, because it doesn't cause a lot of tension in the chord, but it's not one of the main triad, something like that. Okay, so when Ethel's not singing, no, Ethel's not her real name, but we'll call her Ethel because the project's called Ethel. That is comes through as the main event, and that is, yeah, in keeping with this tremendous artwork of, it makes me sad. I don't know exactly what the plan is in this narrative here, but it makes me sad. And that is just a really mournful thing. I guess that's similar to the that we had before, and the same sort of semitone falling figure that is present through this song. So there, even though we had really long notes, and they came down. We didn't get the same fight between that D and the C sharp, which I feel a bit sad about. Yeah, that's a shame. But we've got the same melody. Was it over some different chords? Let's hear it again. No, it isn't. It's interesting to have that F sharp and B over the A chord as well, but I don't have much to say about it. Don't know what those words are. This is coming across a little bit like Agnes Obel, who I am actually a big fan of. So I can't say I'm too mad at what's going on here. The sort of dusky, sorry, it's more like dawn, isn't it? Really, this dawn soundscape of softness and barely rousing critters, magical beings. There's so much just sound in the background, so indistinct, but it adds to the beauty of the sound of the song considerably. Oh, I should have also said, really the only thing cutting through on the higher frequencies at the moment is the voice. The voice still has all this sibilance to it. Maybe a little bit taken off, but it's much clearer than the rest of the stuff. And that is a sensible decision. Makes it much more present and discernible as the main thing. The words are much clearer than they were in the previous track, so in lots of ways that makes a lot of sense. It's very slow moving. That's quite a nice one. Just that little bit there. And again, it's a little bit lost, but I'm pretty sure it's there. Just quite an interesting melody line. He was a natural blush. You could say a lot about that if you really wanted to, but specifically I really like the jump to a G on that B minor chord. Yeah, giving that flat 6 dissonance, and it does fall to the place it should, and then it keeps on falling past where it should, but then we really come to fruition, if you like, on that D major chord when we end on D. I don't particularly like that moment, but I do really like the dissonance. It's just a little bit of subtlety to the phrasing, which is really nice. The background is starting to get in the way of the piano chords now. They're not cutting through so well, because that is what, for one, is coming through clearer. Okay, some crazy distorted guitar. I'm pretty sure it is, even though, you know, the sounds are not clear, but this suddenly has a lot more buzzy, electric, high frequency in it. Just like that. Just doing maybe the power chords, maybe even not quite that. Yeah, with a full, huge set of octaves being covered by the noise there. Much more than the rest of the ensemble. Really powerful addition, even though it's just one thing added on top. Admittedly, in a very, very different sort of mood to the rest. The rest are much more sort of stately, keep myself to myself, all those noises. And then this is like, no, this is not right. Listen to me. Listen. Yeah, thick wall of noise now. It's almost pushing everything out. And maybe everything is fading out, actually. Can you hear me? And again, we've got that. It's like, there's a South Park episode with that cue in it. It might be just some music from a library, I don't know, but yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Lovely connotative analysis there, definitely going to be worthwhile for everyone else. So that "But is my love" is kind of the chorus, but she's not doing anything else that rings as what we heard in the previous chorus. We've just got that phrase coming through, so there doesn't feel like a strong distinction between verses, choruses, or whatever you might want to call them otherwise in this song. They all feel pretty convergent. They're definitely all going in the same way all the time. And so the structure of the piece feels more fluid, even though there are these clear things if you're looking hard enough. That's not how it feels, though. It feels much more connected and not, in different specific sections. Okay, now we've got an extra voice in here, which is, and there's some squeaky high electric stuff as well, which is adding a real build to this. But yeah, that extra voice singing in harmony is beautiful. Thank you very much, Francis Inc. 19. That makes me feel very heartened that I'm doing a good thing. But yeah, listen to those harmony vocals. Just a third apart, very simple, sort of reminiscent of Enya, or someone from a folk tradition, maybe in the New Age canon, and through this wall of noise as well, there's almost two different worlds colliding. We've got the deep, dark, electronic space age guitars and other things, and then we've got the sweet, straightforward, traditional, ancient vocal styles going on. Really a collision of worlds. It's not quite just thirds, but it's pretty close. Something like that. So it's very close, but we do get a nice fourth at the top there for that high B, which is just really satisfying. If it was punished by love, that would be good in its own way, but it would maybe fit a bit too well with the A chord. Punished by love. Whereas that really is nice. The chords are moving by themselves. The melody is moving by itself too. It's definitely redeemed itself from having such a straightforward chord progression. I wouldn't say redeemed itself, but I would say it's made itself into something nice. It's almost like there's an actual guitar solo trying to reach through that upper octave, but it's now gone anyway, so let's stop talking about it. Just got the echoes of those vocals drifting around in the background, and the piano chords are back, and God knows where the guitars have gone. Just absolutely eat it out of there. Yeah, just a very mellow soundscape now, leading us out, presumably. The piano chords maybe getting a little bit slower? No, I don't think so, actually. I think that was just my perception of time shifting. But that is a little bit longer on that final chord. You can hear all those lovely harmonics coming through. And again, we are fading into the next track. So this is clearly meant to be heard as a continuous thing, which is a shame for this analysis, as there is no chance I am going to get through the rest of this tonight. I am stopping, hard stop at 10, but we'll see where we get. We've got another very long track now, not quite the longest on the album, still pretty long. Housofpsychoticwomn. Well, we all know what that is. Am I right, lads? I'm sorry. We've got an interesting texture here, though, haven't we? We have that still the warm noise from before. It's shifted, but it is still similar to what we've had before. Maybe more steady, warm noise in the background. But we've also got tick, tick, tick. This wood block, is it? What do you think? No, it's less pitched than a wood block, but it's just some kind of hitting on wood with a little bit of an echo. Again, really playing with sort of the sound world. It doesn't feel like it's definitely not a pristine, authentic recording. It's definitely had some effecting gone on. Then again, maybe it could have been recorded just really poorly. I don't know. I'm sure it wasn't the intention to record it poorly. I'm sure that it was intended to be recorded as it is. Anyway. We've got some I love you, I think is what that said, but the voices here are not so clear. Okay, a sudden complete change. We lost the nice comforting sound back there, and we instead got a really nasal A flat coming through. What else is going on? Okay. So that A flat is a little bit sharp and is absolutely clashing horribly with everything else that's going on, which sort of seems like it's around maybe an E minor tonality or a G major tonality, with F sharps and Gs and Bs and maybe Es. And that, therefore, A flat doesn't have any place in relation to any of that. Horrible. Yeah. Feels like there's two other instruments as well as that horrible nasal note. And they're sort of weaving a little bit in a complicated dance, but mainly in fifths with each other, and giving us those chords. So that's G, a G5, a B5, an E5, and then an F sharp 5. Those seem to be our main chords. So a slightly more interesting set of 4. And there we've got some C as well, which is still not welcoming of that extra note, and yeah, sort of feels like a departure from what we had before as well. It's subtle though, not very important, I think. There's the G again. Okay, but now we are settling. Okay, there's the E, and we've got a bit more noise being built up in the background, just a little bit. Oh, a D sharp. Wow. Yeah, the two voices now are getting further away from each other. We're getting a kind of augmented feel from them right now. Yeah, that D sharp in the upper voice is really making things very strange. We wouldn't have expected anything like that, I don't think. If we think of this as an E minor tonality, we're still kind of in the realms of understanding. We would have a C, we would have a D sharp in harmonic minor at least. Not that we were expecting that. The F sharp 5 wouldn't gel massively with that, but it wouldn't be absolutely out of the realms of possibility. But yeah, this augmented G kind of chord is weird, especially with this extra note, which is just making everything weird. It just clears from time to time though, and we get relatively comfortable. Or maybe we don't. Yeah, so things are just now shifting up and down in pitch willy-nilly. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, I mean, it's unpleasant. I wouldn't say it has the same crazy oppression that first track had, but it's a cool sound. Okay, so as they sort of vacillate out of existence. Oh, yeah, well, I thought I'd been clever. But it's there. There's the Vacillator is the next track. Anyway, there's a lower sound that has come in, I think on a low E. Let's hear it. Oh, is there? Okay, so it's a B. Yeah, it's a B, a low B. That's an extra, I think an extra voice, but it doesn't seem to be doing too much. Okay, something coming in the right headphone. Just a little bit of sound. Just a little bit of space. Yeah, I'm really trying to focus on what is around this large gyrating ball in the center of the audio vision here. It's unpleasant. I don't like listening to it. I don't think it's even actually very meaningful. So I'm trying to hear the subtleties are around it. We've still got that goddamn note in wherever it is, just burning through. This is unpleasant, and this is really long. Let's just keep going. Okay, so there's our G back. We seem to be sticking fairly heavily to the G's and the E's, but now they are mutating a little bit, moving up and down in pitch. G again. Do do. Yeah, so it's a long G, very short B, E, and then an F sharp normally. And yeah, we got the low B there. Some voices. Who knows what they're saying? I think I love you has come up again. Yeah, okay, there's I love you more clearly. So last time we had this, I love you stopped everything at a certain point. It's almost like there's two voices in conversation here. Okay, so at this point, the harmony is starting to clear a little bit. It's not feeling just like crazy noise anymore. Has just come in over the top, which I think is something like that. So an extra voice, yeah, giving us some more sort of harmonic interest there, and also just more warmth, more emotion put behind. We're not just suddenly this glass, or we're not just constantly there's a glass wall of of coldness, I guess. We're not that anymore. There's more coming in here. And an A in the bass. Okay. And suddenly, the heart of this song really has revealed itself. With one voice seemingly on an absolute downward spiral of self-doubt, and the other one just offering that simple message of comfort. Yeah. It's up to you whether or not, well, which voice wins. Yeah, we had a moment there where we got all those, and then we got a clear B minor chord for a moment as well. But then it was gone. There's that E. Okay. B minor to A. And then to F sharp. Then to E. Something slightly different to what we've had before. Yeah, so the bass is definitely going between those, which makes that very good. And then I think I heard a low a C there going against the F sharp, which is not as pleasant. Something like that. Yeah. Okay. Holding that E for quite a while. But that's carrying on. Yeah, it's just sliding through there. So with that F sharp, it was getting it at the right time to get the F. The E is still holding. I do. We're sort of losing the harmonic scape now. Back to the whap, 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 whap horribleness. We've still got that note going through the background. Every so often you notice it and you go, why? Why? Ugh. This will drive you to become a House of Psychotic Woman. Oh, jeez. Something slightly, and this might be inappropriate to say, but there is something slightly kinky about the soft voices with what you can't hear. There's an element of ASMR about it, which might detract from the art that it is. But nonetheless, I can't help what I feel about that kind of thing. I mean, it's not even a feeling. It's literally, that is what it sounds like to some degree. It's not the high fidelity ASMR that most people like, where everything is super, super clear and clean. But nonetheless, it is, it's an audio thing that causes a similar kind of response, or at least that's how I feel it anyway. Let me know in the comments if you feel the same. Let's have an ASMR party around here. Okay, I think the bass note is leaving and demons have entered. Yeah, some really strange sounds there. It sounds like someone maybe taking a long breath out, with some audio interference just kind of chopping it up. Maybe a kind of filter just literally getting rid of the sound every so often. So it almost sounds like it's like underwater to some degree. And it's going so fast from one ear to the other as well. Yeah, they're playing with sound design, definitely. And that's fair. It doesn't seem pointful to look at the harmony or the, anything here, but that was some clear notes. Whether or not they fit to any understandable scale is beyond me. And yeah, they're just melding into the background ever so slowly and indulgently. Still, yeah, folding around with a delay, a very, very wet delay, so you can hear the voice and the other voice that is the delayed voice interfering with each other, like on the other track. We've got the I love yous back, we've got the demon back, that kind of thing, isn't it? Inward, yeah, it might be an inward scream. I love you. Okay, but things are calming down. The has almost gone. You can still kind of hear a which sounds like you're welcome. That sounds so much worse than I thought it would. But yeah, it's like a pick scrape on a string almost. Maybe it's just a flange effect, to be honest. But yeah, something is making that in the middle of the texture. But we are losing the large proportion of our sound. We've still got the low frequencies, we've still got the bloody tinny note. Great, good choice, lovely. And we've still got the voices, but the voices are maybe calming down. Maybe not. Yeah, it sounds like they're getting more intense, in fact. Now that the swish swish is not so there. Oh, but then they have come down again. Seems like it makes a big difference whether they are on the open mouth or and they are alternating somewhat. We've almost got a beat here. Yeah, it's all over the place. So much noise, so much variation in the noise. And again, we've got more sort of interference from the audio signal. That middle noise, bow bow, has suddenly become this kind of thing going through with a lot of distortion. Yeah, it is giving us a beat. I'm sure that's by the by. It's not like this is going to suddenly drop into an incredible EDM hit. We've got a similar kind of the E's there actually now. That did disappear for a while and it's come back. Just holding us down to that low note. We've got those two notes again fading into each other in the echoes. So they're kind of both being held together. But actually that's quite nice against the E. It's like a 4 and a 3. Whee, lovely. Major. Okay, so that wow in the middle is now going back to our wishy-washy sound. That's sad. Never mind. I thought we were on the way out of this asylum. Yeah, and the E has denatured again, back down to like an E flat or something. Still got the I love yous. Yeah, and the other voices. Okay, it feels more like the initial section now. The G. Sudden change to that. It was really intense, and then it just sort of changed pattern. Still very intense, but just a bit different. Okay, an actual call and response kind of thing there. We go to the F sharp and we have na na, which actually fits very nicely again, the 4 and the 3. And and it's na-na in one ear, na-na in the other ear. Yeah. It sort of gives up on itself quite quickly, but it is there. Yeah, so it's closer to the initial bass kind of G, B, E, F sharp pattern. Again, these voices are doing just different things all over the place. Sometimes discordant, sometimes in. And I really feel like the ringing in my ears is becoming the most pressing thing now. So I am actually going to turn it down, which I'm a little bit disappointed in myself for. But it is just becoming a bit too much for my ears. Yeah. Such wishy-washy noise is really beyond my old rocked out ears. But everything's still there, as far as I can tell. I've turned it down and the bass is not quite so prominent, but I think it's still there. It's just becoming subsumed in this middle noise. And what's interesting now is that that noise there has been overtaken by an F sharp with a much softer tone, much more like a sine wave. It's really nice actually, and it goes much better with all of those. It's very nice. I love you. I love you doesn't even sound like I love you at the end there. Shall we hear it again? I hate to go back on this one. Because I think because of the vocal processing, they've sort of taken off the v sound, so it's not quite there. It's like I love you, I love you, which could be a symbolic representation of someone becoming more distanced from their I don't know, memories of love, childhood, understanding of self-care, just becoming further away from what they understand about themselves. Something deep like that. Yeah, and now I'm going to turn it a little bit up again. We've hit the the softer side again. Not too much aggressive noise in the middle. We have unfortunately got that horrible A flat coming through again, but well, maybe that's just something we have to put up with in our lives. The voices fade. We're left with a little bit of breath noise. The bass, it could just be a like neon light or something burning away in your cubicle. Yeah. Oh. Well, this we did not expect. Wow, the I love yous are all over the place now. And yeah, out of nowhere, that flat B, but not quite a B flat. Yeah, just storming through. Well, we remember where we heard that. We heard that on Perverts. On the first track of Perverts. We've heard it before. It came in as we were driving through the countryside. Very similar kind of thing. So we've actually got some clear, absolutely undeniably deliberate connections between songs here. This is no longer three songs that run into each other, but we have thematic connections. That noise was in the first track. We've had this kind of these descending chromatic things have been happening through this track and the previous track. Maybe they happened in the first track as well, but I wouldn't bet on it. But yeah, we're clearly making something bigger than just a collection of songs here. As if you needed to know, we've just had a 12-minute track and a 13-minute track. Clearly we were making something other than just songs. But not only is it just bigger than just songs, it's bigger than just individual tracks of any description. We're making three tracks that are thematically connected, and not just in terms of words, which is very easy to understand thematic connection through, but music. The music is thematically connected. That's a very powerful tool, and I hope it continues for the rest of the album. I'm only going to be able to look at the next track now, but I may well listen to the rest of the album after I come off stream. Yeah, the I love you is going between ears. Did it just have a re-trigger? Maybe. I'm not going to go back. That's quite fun. It's like, yeah, I think another one there as well. Kind of interesting artifice moment. It's clear repetition going from the middle to the left to the right. Oh, and a sudden stop. That's nice. We haven't had one of those. So those first three tracks all blur together, and then suddenly, between Housofpsychoticwomn and Vacillator, we are in somewhere else. Still with lots of lovely captured audio, field recordings, but this is a drum kit. It's a drum kit somewhere hidden with a lot of space between each hit, but we can still feel the beat. So this is totally not what we were expecting here. Our tempo, kick, drum, drum, wait, and snare, drum, kick, drum, snare, drum. Okay. And we've got a sort of fade in the left ear, I think. Some low notes. Some lovely harmonics. So quiet. But it's coming in inexorably. Yeah. Just individual tones. Properly like some ambient, 70s ambient electronic synthesizer music. But those drums are getting a bit louder as well, aren't they? A bit closer. Okay, and we had a cymbal there. So we're building, keeping the beat pretty much the same, but it's building. It's getting more stuff on it. Even maybe some hi-hat now. Our sound world is around B minor again, with a bit of A as well. More A maybe than B. Okay, and there's a G and a B. And a voice, very clear voice. And a very clear C in the bass. And a very clear C major melody. Straightforward. 2, 3, 2, 1. Lovely.
If you want, you can find me, and I won't move.
Okay, and a clear guitar as well there, doing a counter melody. And we've got some more harmony vocals. So one's doing that while the other. Something like that. So again, close thirds and fourths, fitting more or less with the chord underneath. Really close movement as well. Very, very deliberately synced up movement. Not necessarily artificially synced up. Didn't want to make it sound like that, but really clearly that, you know. Let's hear it again. There's a bit of a subtle phrasing. While the other one underneath. This is where I learned that it's clearly done with a harmonizer. Thunder. It doesn't actually sound like it. It is really closely matching, but I don't think it is exact. So the da 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 and the da da da, they don't quite feel like they're moving at exactly the same time. So it feels like two separate takes or two separate singers maybe trying to move as closely together as possible. And that's really beautifully natural. We had a bit of a talk about natural singing on Punish, or at least, you know, like realistic singing. But yeah, it is very different to what we've heard on this album a lot. So clear, so honest, maybe. We can't get away from the sounds in the background. You can hear them. Such a slow, it's very satisfyingly calm beat. Nonetheless, what we've heard on this album so far has not prepared us for calm. So it, okay, and there's a G. Yeah, the melody has much less variation than the melody in Punish. It is very much based around these main three notes, so I'm less interested in that. But I think that the way the chords are treated, being very slow to move but deliberate, is really well done. Okay, an F. Classic, of course. I can make you come 20 times a day. 3 blind mice. Some higher harmonies there. So previous harmonies were lower, and then here we've got on the third higher. So that's something new. It's not particularly interesting, but you know, I'm being taken in. Yeah, we can hear brushes on the drums. We probably have been able to hear that for a while. But yeah, it's clearly brushed on the snare, so it's really a lot softer, a lot more sort of high frequency sounding, not so much of a bang. And the roominess of the bass drum adds to that similar kind of feel. We don't get the absolute click and punch that you would get on a heavy metal track. It's much more soft and breathy. A little bit of a synthesizer in the background there. It's fading away again. I guess we did have those at the beginning, didn't we? I like that bit of melody. Pretty simple, but yeah. And we're based around C so much here. It's very, very calm. Where did we go? Okay, well, we've still got the drums. The drums are keeping us connected, but it is almost like we've dissociated, and we're now off in this angelic world, which is allowing us only to see the current world as an onlooker. We've got a really high A and really high G and F. Well, this is slightly different to where we were. This feels more like an A minor kind of thing. Now, A minor is very closely related to C, mostly the same notes all the time, but just in a different arrangement. And yeah, the A holding here makes it feel really different. And as well as that, just all that low, soft, smooth, clearly instrumented stuff has gone, and we are left with this jittery noise buffeting us. Yeah, very windy kind of sound. Very, very low frequency kind of thing, but with much less sound to it. Yeah, just, oh, what an uncomfortable feeling. The voice is still there, but, you know, softly laughing at us through the clouds. Yeah, coming to like A5 tonality there. Sorry, no, D5 tonality. Okay, now we're just straight back. There's some extra voices, really low. I wonder if she did those. That's a really nice low voice. So both of those notes together. What are we doing? Like that. With the C tonality. The C is down an octave. So it doesn't clash too much with either of those, with the D specifically. Those feel a little bit higher, so they can sit on top of that C and just pulse away. Yeah, making that C, add 9 chord with clearly a bit of 7 in there as well. Major 7, C, major 9, lovely. Okay, we've heard this somewhat before, but it has more noisiness to it. There's a few more actual instruments, those voices going on, but also there's much more of a wet acoustic too. Nice little bit of melody. And the drums, yeah, they keep us going. There's that F. Very lonely F. We've only really had 2 of those through the whole thing, I think. there's a third. Do, do, do. Nice. Suddenly really close vocal there. That's the only one where that's been the case. Suddenly really close, yeah. Sort of destroys the atmosphere a bit. The other ones, they are close, but they don't have the dryness that one had. So that's a bit odd. And again, dry, but everything is sort of dissipating now, and even the drums are feeling a lot more dry. Okay. So that's ostensibly the end of the song. What else are we going to get on the end? Nice cymbal hit to finish as well. We didn't get too many cymbals in there, but it was effective when we did. And it just echoes on, doesn't it? Cymbals have a really nice echo sound. A few more cymbals. There's that G. Okay, the noise has come back. Very windy kind of sound. Relatively high pitched, not too much low frequency stuff, leaving space for those more pitched noises to come through in the background. So it went from the left, I think it faded out and then faded up in the right, and now it's fading out in the right, up in the left. We're still getting some cymbal noise going on, which is interesting. They're still reminding us that the drums were in this song. Okay, and now it's back in the right. There's actually a clear repetition in it. It's going boom ba da ba dum ba da ba dum ba da ba dum ba da, which is a shame, I think, because that's not what you want from noise. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it's deliberate. But I think that the noise here should feel less understandable. And if you can hear a repetition in it, like you can here. Sorry, let's just go back a bit. It doesn't have the same journey feeling to it. It feels like it's like a computer loop or an aircon or something like that, which is just doing its pattern. And it's relatively boring because of that. If you can have something which doesn't repeat so clearly, it feels like much more of a full sound world. But then again, this is just the end of this piece of music. I wonder if it's going to lead straight into the next one. No, it actually stops. And then we get the sound of the road or something for the next one. Okay, great. Well, I've already been called a pervert. I don't need to be called an onanist too tonight. I will get back to it at some point. I might well review, or it's not really a review, this, is it? It's an analysis. I might well analyse all the rest of the album at some point. I wonder if I can get through the next 5 tracks within 2 hours. I feel like the first 4 really did set the groundwork for what this album was aiming for. Sort of the first 3 gave us 1 real song, 2 soundscapes, but all connected by that noise, and then the 4th took us a little bit away while still hinting that it was in the same kind of vein. This is a work of art. I don't necessarily mean that it's genius or that it's I think it is good, but I don't think it's amazing so far. But it's definitely not just a straightforward album. This is a work of art, and you should treat it as such. Don't go into it expecting just to have things to add to your playlist. Not that I'm sure you do. I'm sure that you, of all people, are interested in the real, hard-working, beautiful art that exists, not just for simple pleasure, but for ongoing adventure, or something like that. Thank you very much. This has been fun. this is the first time I've done one that I haven't heard before, and I think I did pretty well. I think it didn't offer me an absolute barrage of notes or anything like that, so it was relatively easy to take at a slow pace. But I think I will keep doing this on Sundays, and maybe on the other day, which is probably going to be Thursday, I will do something I'm more familiar with. But we'll see about that. I might just choose to do new albums. Because I really like new music, it turns out. I discovered this a few years ago. There's a lot of really good new music. I don't need to be the 1100th person talking about Syd Barrett or Jim Morrison. I can talk about Ethel Cain and Ethel Cain's new album, which came out 4 days ago. And that's really fun and cool. See you soon. Oh, that's so... Oh, no.